Hey everybody, good Thursday morning, top of the morning to you. Hope you're doing okay today. Um, Sitting here, it is 7:33 as I record this. It's gray and damp and cold here in Atlanta. Um, so good morning. Hope you're doing okay. I'm gonna get out of here shortly and get my morning walk in and get some stuff done today and live life. Yeah, live life. But anyhow, let's do the morning post this morning. It is a cold, damp. There is a cold, damp chill in the air. As I walked outside at 6:30 this morning with Boom Boom. Boom Boom seems to like it when I go out with him in the mornings for him to do his first morning pee. I'm like, come on, buddy, it's cold. Let's go back in. There is such a strangeness in the world. It seems to me weird energies are swirling just all around us. Is it because the airways are filled with such rage, with such unhappiness, bizarreness, rantings and ravings? If you think about it, at one time, not that long ago, the airways were silent. Oh, look at me knocking this around. The airways were silent. There was no communications. They did the little Morse code thing for a while or whatever, but there was no internets and TV stations and radio stations and computer networks and there was no satellites all around the universe, and there was just stillness in the universe. If you really think about that. And then for decades, we had Walter Cronkite and John Chancellor, and, there was only 3 TV stations. And the people on those stations during those decades, they were sane, but they filled the airways. Now, the airways are filled every second by millions of people like you and I. With everything from Franklin Graham spewing his stuff out there, he's a Trumper, a MAGA person, to Sean Hannity and Fox News, along with millions of others like just you and me, you and I. Are the airways energy fields? Of course they are. It kind of makes sense that there is so many negative energies floating all around us now. You can feel energy. Energy is something you can feel. Jesus said, if we walked into a house and we say, peace be upon this house, and our peace returns to us, he said just to get up and walk out of that house, Or he said the same thing about a town. If you go into a town, honest to God, I drove into Salt Lake City one time, Ava and I, and we went into a Starbucks and got a cup of coffee and checked in our hotel room, and we were planning on staying there maybe 3 or 4 days, and I told Ava, I'm like, there's just a weird energy in this town. I feel like the Stepford Wives or something. I don't want to stay here. And we stayed that night, and we checked out the next morning. We went on to Reno or someplace else. But it's odd that Jesus said you could feel the energy of a town. You can feel the energy of a country. You can feel the energy of a space, of a place. Oftentimes years ago in church days, we'd go visit a church or something. We'd sit in the back pew and they'd have their little service. We'd be like, I don't feel none of this. We got to go on, hon. But energy is something that you can discern and feel. And Jesus spoke a lot about energy. If you really think about it, if we peel that onion, he was speaking about the energies. He said to get out of that town, take your peace and leave. Aside from all the political chaos every day of the Trumps in this country, y'all, he now wants to federalize national elections and the federal government take over our elections. Well, news to earth, he is the federal government, lock, stock, and barrel. What he's basically saying is, I want to run all the elections. And we know what a crook he is. I'm still not convinced that the midterms will even happen, much less the presidential elections. So there's that. Of all of the other news swirling around, the news about Savannah Guthrie's mother is so disturbing. Savannah is so beloved. and has been for years on TV. She has been one of the few Christians on the national scene that represents Christ well. You can just feel her heart is tender toward the Lord. You Christians out there that might run across this, do you know that when you say, I am a Christian, what you are actually saying and what that means is I am here to represent Christ, because it is no longer I that live, but it is Christ that lives within me. How's that working for you? If you can't handle that, you're in the wrong religion. That is no longer who I am. That is no longer what I claim. That is no longer me, myself, and I. I am not here to represent a religion, a Christ, or a God. I am only here to represent Eddie William Sellers Jr. Flaws, wonderfulness, and all. And then the strange things in the news. Jill Biden's former husband murders his wife. Dog the bounty hunter's son murders his 13-year-old son. See, I told you in a post just a couple of days ago. There are murders in much more places than just the Mexicans. But they'd have the MAGA crowd to believe, oh, it's all the rapists and murderers that's coming across the border, them Mexicans. How dare they? How dare they? And does anybody really care about this Super Bowl? What a blah Super Bowl this is. Savannah asked me last night, she said, Papa, do you want to get together and us watch the halftime show together at the Super Bowl? I said, well, we could. I said, but what do you know about the halftime show? She said, I love Bad Bunny. Well, that says a lot about Bad Bunny, that 14-year-olds know who he is and like him. And all these 50 and 60-year-old white people's run over to TBN to watch, who's that entertainer? Kid Rock. Kid Rock on TBN with his shirt off. Oh, boy, these Christians nowadays are so full of shit. Oh, my God, so full of shit. TBN, all them old 50, 60, 70-year-old white people like, yeah, we ain't watching Bad Bunny. You don't need to watch Bad Bunny because you're old and you're ignorant. Go on over to TBN. Maybe you can hang out with Franklin over there. Oh, Lord. And who calls himself Bad Bunny? It's kind of cool, though, isn't it? Bad Bunny. I'm going to go watch Bad Bunny. I'm listening to some Bad Bunny. Maybe I ought to give myself a name. Maybe I call myself Freaky Rooster. Yeah. Anyway, y'all, watch out for those bad energies out there floating all around. They are a strange thing that can attach themselves to you. You just have to say, not today, Satan. Y'all do know that Satan is an energy, just as God is a spirit. Jesus, do I just have to come on here and teach y'all every damn thing? Can't you just learn something on your own? Good Lord. Good Thursday morning, sweet people. We are living in strange times. There are a lot of different energies swirling around. MAGA is an energy. This video that I'm doing right here is an energy. Trump is an energy. Well, he's maybe the devil. Let's take the maybe off, y'all. That was not right. He is the devil. And you know what's so weird about it? He even looks like, if I picture what a devil would look like, if I'm down praying, I'm like, oh, karaboho shataraboho shandaya, and I'm praying to God, and the image of Satan comes up in if I had to paint a picture of him, I'd be like, good Lord, Trump looks like the devil, don't he? The horns, the red hair, the orange face. It's everything that Revelation's described. The devil. Let me hurry up, y'all. I'm going to run out of time. Just when you think you've gotten rid of one devil, 7 more will get together and come back and take up space in your body. That was such an odd thing Jesus was talking about. But he was talking about more energies would come to us and take up on us. We have to watch out for them, y'all. Bad energies all out there. rebuke them. Get away from